Good evening, I'm Sarah Sapsanama. Let's begin with the headlines of the hour. Ruling alliance doing legworks for division of power. Maoist Centre and CPN UML to share terms of Prime Minister. Nepali Congress withdraws its support to the government. Chief Ministers of Sudur Pashchim and Gandaki sack ministers from Maoist Centre. Nepali Congress withdraws its support to Karnali Province government. The budget priorities and principles for next fiscal year stranded with the exit of Finance Minister. Government's 16th plan also likely to change. And the Netherlands win the Nepal Tri-Nations T20 International Series, defeating host Nepal by 4 wickets. An agreement has been reached between CPN UML and Maoist Centre to share the remaining 4-year term of Prime Minister. According to Maoist Centre Secretary Devendra Podel, an official agreement to share the remaining term equally was reached between the two parties during the formation of the new alliance. Maoist Centre Chair Pushpa Kamal Dahal will serve in the post for the first 2 years, and the remaining will be handed over to CPN UML Chair KP Sharma Oli. Podel also claimed that there had been unofficial agreement to merge the two parties. Meanwhile, discussions have expedited for the division of power among 4 partners within the ruling coalition. Top brass leaders of the 4 parties, including Maoist Centre Chair and Prime Minister Pushpa Kamal Dahal, CPN UML Chair Oli, Rashtra Swatantra Party President Ravi Lamichhane and Janata Samajwadi Party Chair Upendra Yadav have been mulling over the equation of the new government. A meeting of the task force assigned to propose a draft of the equation was held earlier in the day. However, final decision could not be reached. This is because it has been understood that the Prime Minister is willing to also include Unified Socialist, Janamat and Loktantrik Samajwadi Party in the alliance. The task force to finalize the division of ministries included CPN UML General Secretary Shankar Pokhriyal, Maoist Centre Deputy General Secretary Barsha Manpun, Janata Samajwadi's Rajendra Shrestha and Rashtra Swatantra Party's Swarnim Wagle. As an effort to include parties other than the 4 parties, Prime Minister Dahal and UML Chair Oli had reached the residence of Unified Socialist Chair Madhav Kumar Nepal in Koteshwar. The meeting lasted for almost 2 hours, and leaders said the meeting ended in a positive note. A meeting of the Unified Socialist Secretariat has been called for tomorrow, which is expected to hand a final decision. The effects of change in the ruling coalition at the centre has had its ripple effects in provincial levels as well. Ministers at Karnali Province from Nepali Congress have resigned from their posts, while chief ministers in Gandaki and Sudur Pashchim provinces have sacked ministers from Maoist Centre. Chief Minister of Gandaki Province, Surendra Raj Pandey, sacked Minister for Social Development, Sushila Simkhada, and Minister for Physical Infrastructure and Transport Management, Resham Bahadur Gogjali Magar. However, the new alliance is expected to have tough time in changing the current government, as it needs at least 31 votes from members of the Provincial Assembly, which is of 60 seats. The alliance will need to join hands with Rashtriya Prajatantra Party to form a new government. The party, meanwhile, has said it has not put the government in priority. Elsewhere in Karnali, legworks to form a government in the province have yet to begin, as observers say the provincial government will depend on the decision by the centre. Nepali Congress withdrew its support lent to the Karnali province government as 3 ministers from the party resigned from their posts. This included Minister for Financial Affairs and Planning Vedraj Singh, Minister for Industry, Tourism, Forest and Environment Krishna Bahadur BC, and Minister for Social Development Kharga Bahadur Pokhriyal. The 3 informed of their resignation at a press meet earlier today. In case of Sudur Pashchim Province, Chief Minister Kamal Bahadur Shah scrapped 2 ministers from CPN Maoist Centre and also 1 state minister. This includes Minister for Industry, Tourism, Forest and Environment Ramesh Singh Dhami, Minister for Social Development Japat Saud, and State Minister for Industry, Tourism, Forest and Environment Geeta Devi. Chief Minister Shah has taken both the ministries under his wing. The Sudur Pashchim government was formed with an alliance between Nepali Congress, Maoist Centre, Nagarik Unmukti and CPN Unified Socialist. Chief Minister Shah has not scrapped ministers from Nagarik Unmukti and Unified Socialist. Shah held a press conference today and said Nepali Congress had a clear majority in the province, and so he did not leave the government and instead removed ministers from Maoist Centre. The Provincial Assembly is of 53 members and the provincial government needs support of at least 27 Provincial Assembly members. Parties in the ruling coalition has 28 members, including 17 from Nepali Congress, 7 from Nagarik Unmukti and 4 from Unified Socialist. Nagarik Unmukti's decision could, however, play a key role in the fate of the provincial government. Nepali Congress has decided to withdraw its support to the government. Party President Sherbhadur Dewa had called for the meeting of the party's working committee in the wake of the change in the ruling coalition at the centre. This came after Prime Minister Pushpa Kamal Dahal appointed 3 new ministers yesterday, and Nepali Congress President Dewa had said that the Premier had betrayed Nepali Congress. Premier Dahal had removed all ministers from Nepali Congress yesterday itself. Dewa had called for the meeting of the party's working committee in the wake of the change in the ruling equation. Today's meeting has decided to register the party for the upcoming by-elections and also call for parliamentary party meeting on 7th of March, that is Thursday this week. It is time now for our segment Public Pulse, where you text us with your opinion.
Public Pulse.
But before today's question, let's take a look at the results from yesterday's poll. Yesterday we asked you, what do you think of the first 6-year term of the National Assembly? 8% voted for option A, shadow of House of Representatives, 57% for B, a platform for leader management, and 25% for C, members did not understand the gravity of the House. And here's today's question. What's your take on the impacts at the provinces of change in the ruling equation at the centre? Your options are A, depreciation of federalism, B, dependency on the centre, and C, normal for party-based system. The voting is on. Type NEWS, select your option A, B or C and send it to 34001 to share your opinion with us. Now, China has shown interest in the recent political development in Nepal. Speaking at a press briefing in Beijing, spokesperson for the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of China, Mao Ning, said the northern neighbor was hopeful that the formation of a new government will be smooth and that the alliance partners would unite and work together. Ning expressed trust towards the parties, saying that they would show solidarity in ensuring political stability, economic development and quality of life of the public. Ning also added China prioritized peaceful coexistence, maintaining and improving historical ties, improving support and promote cooperation among the future generation. Now, in our Public Voice segment, today we've asked in several provinces regarding their suggestions to the Prime Minister and ministers from the new ruling coalition. Let's take a look at what they had to say.
नेपाली जनताको इच्छा आकांक्षा र चाहनालाई यो सरकारले पूरा गर्नुपर्छ भन्ने चाहिँ मलाई लागिरहेको छ।
जनताको दुखलाई सम्बोधन हुने गरी काम गरोस्।
कानुन बनाउने र जनताको हितको निमित्त काम गर्न म सुझाव दिन्छु।
जनतामा भएको निरस्ता हटाउन लाग्नुपर्छ।
जनता र देशको लागि केही काम गरेर देखाउनुपर्छ।
सरकारले अब खास विकास र नीति गर्नुभन्दा आफ्नो स्वार्थ गर्ने मात्रै देखिएको छ, तर गरेमा अब राम्रो टिकेमा देश र जनताको लागि केही गर्नुपर्छ भन्ने लाग्छ।
व्यापक रूपमा भ्रष्टाचार बढिरहेको छ हैन, यो भ्रष्टाचारलाई चाहिँ अब सकेसम्म न्यूनीकरणै गर्न पर्यो। अब ती भ्रष्टाचारीहरूलाई चाहिँ कठघरामा ल्याएर कि त सजाय दिन पर्यो।
देशमा संहिता त आयो, तर त्यसको कार्यान्वयन राम्रोसँग भएको छैन। प्रमुख सरकार र स्थानीय तहलाई बलियो बनाउनु पर्छ।
आफ्नो स्वार्थको लागि मात्र गएको छ, जनताको लागि गएको हैन।
बुढा जातिलाई चाहिँ समेटेर र पिछडा वर्गलाई समेटेर लगियो भने मुख्य गरी सरकार सफल हुनेछ।
यता चाहिँ उता चाहिँ मिल्या न राम्रो गरे भने हो के राम्रो गर्ने त आशै लाग्दैन।
जो आओस् राम्रो गरोस्, मुलुकको लागि सोचोस्, मुलुकलाई सोचोस् भन्ने मात्रै हो, तर सोच्ने आखिर कमै देखिए।
स्थिरताको राजनीति गर्यो भने देशको विकास र उन्नति हुन्छ भन्ने मेरो चाहिँ सुझाव।
देशमा सुशासन कायम गर्नु, भ्रष्टाचार नियन्त्रण गर्नु।
With the formation of new coalition government, the priorities and principle of the budget for the upcoming fiscal year, which was presented by the government at the Federal Parliament on 26th of February last month, has been stranded. This is due to the restructuring of the cabinet by the Prime Minister. Former Minister for Finance Mahat had included mobilization of resources in development of public infrastructure for sustainable and inclusive financial progress, increase in production and generation of employment among other agendas for the budget for the upcoming fiscal year. Discussions on the priorities of the budget will now be based on the suggestions given by the new finance minister. The priorities and principles of the budget allocation bill was presented in the parliament 3 months prior to the presenting of the annual budget. The laws had been amended through an ordinance for this. This had paved way to present the priorities of the budget at the parliament by 15th of the Nepali month of Falgun. Discussions were to be held and suggestions given to the government within a month's time. As per the parliament schedule, discussions on this should have begun on Monday. However, it has been stranded amid the change in political equation. Change in the government's 16th five-year plan has also been expected. The suggestions given by ruling alliance partners must be included in the 5-year plan. The government had said that the budget of the upcoming fiscal year will be prepared based on the target of 16th five-year plan. However, the draft of the plan have yet to be finalized. With the change in political equation, leaderships of ministries are bound to change as well. It is uncertain who will become the next Minister for Health. Ministers who have been appointed since the COVID pandemic have been dragged into corruption scandal and have been criticized for their working ways. Irregularities have increased as ministers have been centered on self-interest rather than expansion of access to health services among the general public. Leader Mohan Bahadur Basad of Nepali Congress, who had assumed the post of Minister for Health on 4th of April, had pledged to work in order to ensure people's access to health services and ensure effective implementation of the government's health insurance program. However, he failed to fulfill his pledge within 10 months of the term. He was embroiled in controversies concerning procurement of health equipment, interference in appointments, and removal of 276 permanent staff at the Bir Hospital, which had affected surgeries and services at the intensive care units. Former Health Minister Bhanu Bhakta Dakal was also dragged into controversy related to procurement of health equipment. This led to scrapping of the agreement with Omni Group. Another Health Minister, Ridesh Tripathi, was criticized for introducing medicines of Patanjali which had not been registered. Businessperson in the health and education sector, Umesh Shrestha's appointment as the Health State Minister was also drawn into controversy. Likewise, Birod Khatiwada also failed to work effectively. Health Ministry is one of the important ministries as it is directly connected with the general public. However, the government body has been grappled with irregularities so far. Now on to international update. A team of United Nations experts reported that there were reasonable grounds to believe sexual violence, including rape and gang rape, occurred at several locations during the October 7 attack on Israel by Hamas militants. The team, led by UN Special Envoy for Sexual Violence in Conflict, Pramila Patten, visited Israel between January 29 and February 14th on a mission intended to gather, analyze and verify information on sexual violence linked to the October 7 attacks. Palestinian militant group Hamas has repeatedly rejected accusations of sexual violence. Hamas fighters attacked Israel on October 7, killing around 1,200 people and seizing 253 hostages, according to Israeli tallies. Israel's retaliation against Hamas in the Gaza Strip has since then killed more than 30,000 Palestinians. The team said a fully fledged investigation would be required to establish the overall magnitude, scope and specific attribution of sexual violence. The UN team said it also received information from institutional and civil society sources and direct interviews about sexual violence against Palestinian men and women in detention settings during house raids and at checkpoints. The detention centers were in Israel. The UN team said it raised the allegations with the Israeli Ministry of Justice and Military Advocate General, which said no complaints of sexual violence against members of the Israeli Defense Forces had been received. Israel has been critical of the UN response to the October 7 attacks. UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres said last year in fact, that sexual violence committed on October 7 must be vigorously investigated and prosecuted, stressing that gender-based violence must be condemned anytime, anywhere.
Sports News.
The Netherlands have won the Nepal Tri-Nations T20 International Series by defeating the hosts by 4 wickets in the final played today. Nepal had given the Netherlands a target of 185 runs, which the visitors achieved with 3 balls remaining, losing 6 wickets. In the match played at 2 cricket ground in Kantipur, Nepal chose to bat first and posted 184 runs in the stipulated 20 overs, losing 8 wickets. Opener Kushal Bhurtel managed to collect 20 runs in 10 overs before getting bowled out by team banger Gupta. Asif Sheikh and captain Rohit Paudel had a second wicket partnership collecting 59 runs. Rohit scored personal 25 runs while Asif went out for 47, which also was the highest score for Nepal innings. Dipender Singh Airi returned to the pavilion scoring just 1 run. Kushal Malla added 26 and Karan Casey scored 9 runs. Arif Sheikh was out for a golden duck while Sompal Kami and Pratish GC remained not out at 6 runs each. Fred Klassen, Team van der Gupten, Michael Levitt and Sybran Engelbrecht each claimed 2 wickets. In reply, the Netherlands reached the target in 19.3 overs, losing 6 wickets. Openers Max O'Dowd and Michael Levitt partnered for 83 runs, as O'Dowd had a personal contribution of 22 runs while Levitt made a half-century for the Netherlands innings. Levitt scored 54 runs in 29 balls, which was also his second half-century in T20 International. Vikramjit Singh scored 29 runs and Sybran Engelbrecht contributed 48 runs. Team van der Gupten at 21 runs and Rolof van der Merwe at 2 runs remained not out as Netherlands won the tournament. Kushal Malla claimed 4 wickets for Nepal in 3 overs, giving away 33 runs. Avinash Bohra and Dipender Singh Airi had a wicket each to their scalp. That is all for the moment. Thank you for watching. Good night.